Miss Alyssa.
And I'm Miss Teresa.
And welcome back to another month of our book talk. So this month, as you know, we read A Wish in the Dark by Christina Soontornvat. I think we both agree we really liked it.
Such a good book.
It was great.
I laughed, I cried, it just was...
All the emotions.
All the emotions. It was really good.
It was.
I mean, I have to say that we've been reading some really good books this year.
Yeah, we've had some really good choices.
Yeah, so this one is a great one. And let's just get into it.
Let's start. So, do you have a favorite character?
I do. So my favorite character was Soontornvat. He is Pong's best friend. And so we know that him and Pong are orphans and they live together in the jail or the prison. And I like Soontornvat because even though it's a horrible situation, you know, like they have no one to rely on. They don't have their mothers there with them. The other prisoners and guards and children that live in the prison, they all pick on them. It's kind of like every man for themselves. And so together though, they really build a friendship, and Soontornvat looks out for Pong and Pong looks out for him. And he just throughout all of this has such a great attitude.
Yeah.
So I just enjoyed him. He was fun, and I just thought he was also really compassionate too. You see throughout the book. So
yeah, I totally agree, and I think he's a really good friend.
Yes.
Which it would be easy to be very self-absorbed in this world they're living in, but he really does look out for Pong, and Pong looks out for him. And Soontornvat, you find out towards the end of the book, he kind of is the reason that Pong escapes the prison in the first place. Pong thinks that
it was all like he just took
a spur of the moment decision, and he like kind of abandoned Soontornvat, and he always felt bad about it. But then
you see Soontornvat like, no, like you thought that was all your idea. Yeah. Like, no, like I helped you. Like I'm the one who had an asthma attack. I'm the one who said go pick up all the fruit
I raised
trash.
my eyebrows to
I wiggled my eyebrows as the signed, and he's like, what signed?
Yeah,
it was very funny. And you just see throughout the book that relationship, Soontornvat being a breath of fresh air for Pong.
Yeah.
You know, when Pong is feeling just at the lowest, Soontornvat is there to lift him up.
Yes.
And I just think that, and then when it goes the other way, when Soontornvat hits the bottom as well, you know, when things are looking very bleak, Pong when Empire dies, Pong is there to lift Soontornvat up. And so just, you know, both of them together were great, but Soontornvat was just super fun.
Yeah, I think there's something to say about a friendship that can pick up after 3 years of not seeing each other, pick up like nothing ever happened.
Yeah.
Those are very special friendships that I would think all of us hopefully have that in our lives, but it's something very special.
Yeah. So who was your favorite character?
My favorite character, I think, was Father Cham, who wasn't a main character. He's not in the book a whole lot, but he kind of in some way touches everyone in the book.
He does, yeah.
His wisdom, he's the head of the monastery, the lead monk there. And his special gift is kind of blessing people with, you know,
making I don't want to say their dreams come true, but making good things happen for them.
Yes, he wishes good things upon people, and those tend to come true. But he also was a really good teacher, I think, in the way he didn't teach like out of a book on how to be good, or he didn't like lecture everyone every day about stuff, but he would say things that let other people like Pong find their inner truth.
He gave them the tools, I think, to kind of make their own decisions, whether good or bad. You see that throughout the book, but he really allows them to come to certain conclusions. Like here are the tools, here are the thoughts. This is how we should be treating people.
I remember when Pong is saying something about how he, since he is an escaped convict, he's not a good person. Yeah. And instead of like right away coming back at Pong, Father Cham just kind of looks away,
like really,
and just studies something really hard and Pong kind of feels
he talks it out like, well, okay, maybe I do have good things about me, and maybe, you know, this happens. You see that with the child. So the temple in that town, they send the babies, the orphan babies there, so they can be raised in a better environment. And so the father meets every baby that comes through to the school. And you see him share that wisdom with not only the other monks that are there, but the whole town, the school, the babies. He's blessing all of these people, you know, so that they have skills to go out into the world and do good.
Yeah, because that reminds me that Pong is saying, what terrible families must be sending these babies away.
Yeah.
And then Father Cham doesn't answer right away, so it gives Pong a chance to think of things in another light. And he says, well, maybe they're sending the babies away in hopes that they're going to have a better life. Yeah.
They could be starving. They could not have enough money to raise all these children. So send them with hope down the river to maybe, you know, who knows what's going to be there.
I think Father Cham had a really good, strong presence and a really good, I guess,
in that small amount.
Yeah, the small amount we had with him, he was very knowledgeable, and I just had an emotional connection with him.
I did too. I thought it was really good. Well, because, spoiler, his spirit shows up later, later on in the thing, but it's still guiding not only Pong, but all the other people that he's touched, and he's touched all of the babies that, you know, all of these people. And so you just know that Pong sees it. He's like, no, Father Cham's words and wisdom are still
and I like that his goodness transcends his death. It's still there. I love that.
That was good.
So did you have any characters you didn't like or moments you didn't like in the book?
Okay. I thought that, you know, this book is really good, and there are some really sad moments in it. You know, you see, I mean, they're orphans in prison and trying to escape into a still problematic world.
Yes.
So there is a lot that's going on in the book. But one of the things that just really, just as me reading it, I was accepting all the other stuff. But the one thing that just really bothered me was the whole situation about Ampai's death. So that just, I mean, it just really bothered me. You find out, because you're kind of seeing it from two different perspectives, Nock's perspective in half the book and then Pong's perspective. And you find out that Yord and Yai are kind of spies for the governor. And
they are spies.
They are spies for the governor. And I'm thinking the way it was set up in the book, it doesn't say it exactly, but the way they write it is you find out that they probably set the fire in the mud house. And so because of that fire, and everyone's trying to escape it because fire is just so deadly in it, and it just destroys so much, Ampai goes back in there and tries to save all of these people.
Ampai, who was blessed by
Father Cham,
so that her courage would never fail.
And it didn't. It does not fail. She saves everybody in that house. Everyone can thank her until the very end. And there's no justice, though. And it really bothered me.
There's no comeuppance for Yord and Yai in the book.
Yeah.
No.
And so, I mean, I guess that's kind of real life. Like, not every
bad person is punished.
Exactly.
The way you think they should be.
Yeah. But in this case, it really just made me, I just really wanted.
It was frustrating.
Yeah.
I will agree.
So yeah, that was my little moment of like, no, like, why isn't there justice for Ampai? She just did so much. And Yai and Yord are just messing around, stealing things and causing trouble.
I know.
What about you?
I really liked it. I know it's based on Les Miserables, which I'm not as familiar with as Miss Teresa is.
Yes.
So I really loved all the twists and turns. I enjoyed it. I will say I love how it ended, but I was like, well, what happens next? Because there's an ending to the story, but you don't know what happens.
It kind of here's the thing. So usually, not usually, but in a lot of books, you get this is the end. Everyone lives happily ever after, or nobody lives happily ever after, and that's the end of the book.
I guess what I'm trying to say is I felt there was more story to tell.
There is,
and I want to know what happens to Pong, what happens to Nock, what happens to the whole city of Chitana.
They leave it as, well, the governor's gone. There's no more lights. We have to figure out how to light these cities. We're going to try to do better, but there's just so much that still needs to be done.
Yeah.
You know, there's still people that are living in poverty. There's still people that are without lights, without food. they're trying their best to change the prison into a school for children, but there's a lot of unanswered questions. So
I guess I was just so invested in these characters. I wanted to know, like, does Somkit, I know he starts teaching.
Yes.
But does he figure out how to light everything? And
yes.
What else happens? That was my only complaint.
The lights, like they're like, you know, they only have the gold light now.
Yes.
That's all he learned how to make. So it's like the jade light and the blue lights, all the other ones are gone. And so
Knock even says it'd be nice if he learned how to make those.
Yeah, like it would be awesome. I was like, but for right now, they're figuring out how to deal with all of that, and that's how it ends.
So mine's not really a critique. I just really wanted to know more.
No, I can understand that too, because you grow to love these characters, and because they've been through so much.
Yeah, I feel like I've spent the whole life with them. There's just so much happening in the book,
which is really funny because like they go through it so quickly. From when he escapes, like 4 years go by, like really quickly. They don't go into a lot of detail. He's a monk. And then it's 2 weeks from when he escapes the temple to when they have their march on the Giant's Bridge.
It is pretty quick.
And it's like, when they said that, I was like, 2 weeks? That's, oh my gosh, it feels like a lifetime in that book.
Yeah, it did. So I guess, would you read another book? By this author.
I
think
would.
This is a standalone. I don't think it's a series.
If she decides to make it a series, I would love to find out more about that, because I mean, there used to be more magic.
Yeah, there's more stories.
There used to be giants and things like that. So
there are more stories. In this.
You could add so much more. Yeah. So with Pong and Somkit and Knock all together. Friends. But yes, I really liked her writing. I liked her world building.
I love that it's like a twist on Les Mis, and I love the setting in like a kind of, I think it's Thai type world.
Yes.
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, they brought in a lot of things, because if you've ever looked at pictures of like Thailand, like a lot of people are on boats in canals and things like that. And the way she wrote it made me, like, I could see it in my mind. Like, oh, wow, okay, he's almost knocking into these boats while he's trying to get away and learn how to...
Or the bright pink taxi boat.
Yes, all of those. That seems really very vivid to me. So, yes, I would love to read more from her.
I would too. Please.
Yeah. Write more stuff.
So, we have some recommendations. So, these are books that have similar themes that you might have liked in A Witch in the Dark. Yes. Our first or you go first.
Oh yeah, not a problem. I'm going to talk about All Rise for the Honorable Perry T. Cook, and this is by Leslie Connor. And so this book is it follows along Perry T. Cook, who was born in a correctional facility with his mom. So he was allowed to stay with her, but then eventually he's got to leave and he goes into foster care. And so he wants to find out more about why his mom is in prison and, you know, why he can't be reunited with her. So it's along a similar line of you have a young boy in prison and how that kind of affects him. Mm-hmm. Like we had Pong and Somkit in prison.
I'm sure there's a stigma that follows him too, like Pong's tattoo, similar. So our second recommendation is The Bridge Home by, I'm going to butcher this, Padma Venkatraman. So this is a book about two sisters who are, I think they're orphans, and they become homeless on the street. And they make friends with two brothers who are also homeless, and they make kind of their own little family. And they're enjoying life. I mean, they're on the streets, but they're living well. Mm-hmm. But then illness affects them, and she has to make a decision on whether to go to the authorities and adults that have failed them all their lives, or to stay in the family and hope that sickness pass. So it's kind of similar to Somkit and Pong.
Yeah, trying to survive out there.
Yeah.
So we have more to the story, and this is by Henna Khan. And this is where A Wish in the Dark is kind of like a retelling of Les Mis. This is a retelling of Little Women, yes. So you do still have the four sisters. Jamila is one of them, and she wants to be a journalist like her grandfather. And so you go through her trying to win awards and everything, but then one of her sisters gets sick, and she's kind of figure out if recognition and awards are really what matter, or if she should focus on something else. So
yeah, kind of another literary spin. if you liked the fact that this book was based on a classic novel. And as always, we're going to show you our pick for next month, which is June, right?
Yes, we're June.
Which is A Wolf for a Spell by, is it Carda Sutton? This one looks really cool. The back reads, a brave wolf, a cunning witch, a rebellious girl. Together they must save the forest before it's too late. So this, I know, actually has to do with Baba Yaga, which is one of my favorite folklore mythologies. So we're really excited to read this one. So make sure you check this out at our local library. We're slowly opening for people to come in.
Yeah, but you can always do curbside pickup still, so.
Or online for ebooks. So thanks for watching with us, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.